This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Thursday, the 14th day of December in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting from Stvincent and the Grenadines. Tonight, here's what you need to know. President Irfan Ali said he has made it clear to the Venezuelan president during their meeting here in Stvincent that there is no retreating on Guyana's clear position that the Essequibo region belongs to Guyana, and Guyana will not be budging from its case before the International Court of Justice.
I made it clear that the controversy must be resolved at the ICJ. And we are unwavering and resolute in ensuring that Guyana's case is presented, defended, and that the ICJ will issue its decision on the merits of the case, which of course is binding on all the parties. I made it clear that the process leading to the ICJ is part of the Geneva Agreement, and that the Geneva Agreement provides for the UN Secretary General to determine where the controversy must be finally determined. And it is a UNSG acting within the confines of the Geneva Agreement who determined that that place is the ICJ.
At a press conference at the Argyle International Airport here in Stvincent, where the talks were held, the president said both countries want peace, but Guyana is a law-abiding country. According to President Ali, during the meeting, he also made it clear that Guyana will continue to exploit the resources within its territorial space.
I made it very clear that within the sovereign space of Guyana, we will continue to do everything that promotes the development, the advancement of our people, and all the partnerships necessary to ensure the defense and protection of what is ours, in accordance with international law.
President Ali also said CARICOM has remained firm in its position that it is supportive of Guyana and the case before the International Court of Justice. The president noted that the two sides have agreed to remain committed to ensuring that the region remains a region of peace.
So as we move forward, in the next phase of the meeting, and in keeping with the invitation, which sought to enable a process of dialogue on consequential issues, not on the issue before ICJ, on consequential issues, that dialogue, the shape and the form of that dialogue, in an understanding of how we move forward, is the next phase of these meetings. Both parties committed to ensuring the region remains a zone of peace.
Guyana has been canvassing support from a number of its international partners on the border controversy. The president said Guyana will lean on those partners for support in the defense of its territory.
I want to say that we agreed with all the regional partners that the priority is peace, and that every threat of force or the use of force must be denounced, and that every party must take responsibility. We made it very clear that Guyana is not the aggressor. Guyana is not seeking war. But Guyana reserved the right to work with all our partners to ensure the defense of our country.
And holding up a leather bracelet with a map of Guyana engraved on it, the president of Guyana said it is very clear what Guyana looks like, what the map looks like, and it will remain that way.
What do you think that means?
This tells you. I don't have to think what it means. We know what this means. This is Guyana. All of it belongs to all of Guyana. This is the map of Guyana. No narrative, propaganda.
Guyana president says all belongs to Guyana and he not giving up. Wow. I hear that.
Decree can change this. This is Guyana.
President Ali is heading back to Guyana tonight. More news coming up in just a moment.
Well, guys, as we can see, it's very clear that it's going to be peace. It's clear that it's going to be peace, but it ain't clear that Guyana going to give up anything. Wow. This is something.
In President Irfan Ali and his Venezuelan counterpart Nicolas Maduro over the lack of consultation and a clear agenda. The Caribbean Community CARICOM and the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States CELAC called the meeting with the aim of easing the tension between the two South American nations. Though offering his support for dialogue between the two sides aimed at easing tension, Norton said the agenda for today's meeting should have been clearly defined.
If the opposition had access to all the information, if the opposition was involved in a proper consultative process, if the opposition was aware what is the agenda of the meeting, then I might have considered it. But as leader of the opposition, I wouldn't want to involve the opposition in the meeting for the sake of saying there is involvement. One has to know what are the objectives of the meeting, what is the agenda of the meeting.
Mr. Norton questioned what would have been the role of the opposition in the meeting between the two presidents when the Guyanese government would have already assured the nation that there would be no dialogue on the border controversy.
It was a case where there was a clear role for the leader of the opposition. Then there should have been consideration. We have been sending a technical person to the meetings in The Hague, but we opted not to send somebody on this occasion because our understanding is that the Guyana-Venezuela territorial controversy will not be discussed. And to the extent it is not going to be discussed, we saw no need to send our technical person.
Mr. Norton said while it is always important for dialogue to take place, there is also the need for caution.
I would not say I am optimistic. And I wouldn't even say cautiously optimistic. For me, if there is movement in the direction of peace, peaceful coexistence, the non-use of force, and we manage to de-escalate tension, then I would welcome it. However, from my own experience, unless a summit is well prepared, there are prior agreements on what will be the final outcome, it is not likely that you will have.
The opposition leader said the APNU AFC opposition will remain supportive of the border case before the International Court of Justice, where it rightfully belongs.
I supported dialogue, but indicated the dialogue should be aimed at bringing peace. It should be aimed at peaceful coexistence. It should aim to reduce the tensions, de-escalate the tensions. And so that is the context in which I've supported a summit.
President Irfinali and President Maduro touched down at the Argyle International Airport this morning. Vice President Barjaccio has justified the 6.5% salary increase that the government recently announced for public servants, saying the government has a duty to be responsible and act in the interests of all Guyanese. During a press conference today, the vice president said a salary increase that is not grounded in an analysis of the economy, the state of the country's finances, and its revenue stream will not be sustainable. He said the government has to pay 54,000 public servants at an annual cost of $89 billion.
But when you run a country, you have to take care of your public servants. They're your people who help you to administer the country. But you have a duty to all the people of the country too, who are not public servants, who work, who contribute to national wealth, who pay taxes. They also have to benefit from the treasury. And how do you get them to benefit? So you have to think about that too. You can't get them to benefit by paying higher.
Honestly, that makes a lot of sense. It's supposed to be benefit everybody because everybody is contributing.
Wages because they're not working with you. So you also have to make sure that they pay less taxes.
The vice president told reporters that it is no doubt that public servants are the backbone of the government. He said the government has ensured that working conditions have improved and salaries have been increased, so much so that some categories of private sector workers are now opting to work for the government.
I see somebody said, how 6.5% now? But you had to pay this year, from this year resources, for the last 3 or 4 years, it becomes annualized. It's recurrent. When you increase salaries, it's recurrent. You have to pay for this year, last year, the year before increase, etc.
Additionally, Mr. Jacques said public servants are also beneficiaries of a number of other initiatives from the government, such as the removal of VAT on water, electricity, data, and some food items, which directly impacted Guyanese, including public servants.
It's not only wages and salaries you can spend on. You have to spend on roads, electricity. We subsidize electricity now. We've absorbed all of the costs because of higher oil prices and carry it on the treasury. That's a benefit to everyone. We restore pension, the subsidy to the pensioners. Where do you think you fund this from? People don't look at all of those. They think, 6.5% alone.
The vice president said although the country is now benefiting from oil resources, those monies cannot be spent only on salaries for public servants. He noted that the government has increased disposable income to households by increasing the Because We Care cash grant, among other initiatives. The Ghana Public Service Union has criticized the increase as unilateral and has also indicated that it clearly has not taken the current cost of living and inflation into consideration. With the recent increase in blackouts, which has been blamed on the Ghana Power and Light Company's generation capacity, the power company is expected to see some improvement now that the recently purchased generating sets have arrived in the country and the installation process is set to get underway soon. The new sets will produce 28.9 megawatts of power and are expected to be installed in time for Christmas. In a social media post, GPL said the generators will boost the generation capacity in the Demerara Berbice interconnected system. The decision to acquire additional megawatts came from findings from an assessment by the company, which said the generation reserves will be violated from 2023 and onwards, becoming negative from 2024. A negative system reserve indicates that demand is greater than generation, which leads to generation shortfall. The government has long said that the high level of investments and the number of investors coming into the country and being connected to the grid may also be causing some of the power problems. The assessment, which was done by GPL earlier this year, acknowledged the growth in the new services and the continued expansion of the housing sector. In March this year, Prime Minister Mark Phillips announced that in preparation of the 300 megawatt Wales gas to shore power plant's late 2024 completion, the government will be moving ahead with plans to upgrade the GPL's distribution grid.
Linden, get ready for grand final.
As we know, Guyana and Venezuela is basically going through a situation right now, and Guyana is not trying to give up anything. So it's going through a battle. So let me find this article where we can get more information about what's going on in Guyana and Venezuela. Okay, let me see this here. Give me 1 second, guys. When there is money, oil, when there is oil and minerals, believe it or not, this is what happened. Oil and minerals is money, guys. So this is how it's be. Okay, so let's listen to this again, guys. Let's listen to this again. This is where they actually breaking down a little of what is going on. So let me run this clip again, guys. 1 minute.
I just want to take a few moments to update you on the third phase of the discussions, the talks so far today. The first phase, of course, was with CARICOM, the Guyana team with CARICOM. You want to go now? Yeah, oh, you can stand, you can come closer here. I just wanted us to have the Spanish translation at the same time. So in the first phase of the meeting, we met with CARICOM. There, we reiterated our position. That is in relation to our land boundary. That matters before the ICJ. And there is absolutely no retreat by Guyana in ensuring that
en asegurar
this matter
que este asunto
is determined
se determine
by the ICJ
por la CIJ
and that the outcome
y que el resultado
of this matter at the
del
ICJ
asunto ante la CIJ
be respected by all.
sea respetado por todos.
Also,
También,
CARICOM restated its position
CARICOM ha reafirmado su posición
that has consistently recognized
de que reconoce constantemente
not only the 1899 award,
no solamente el laudo arbitral de 1899,
but that
sino que
the merits of the case in relation to the controversy
los méritos del caso en relación con la controversia
must be determined by the ICJ,
deben ser determinados por la Corte Internacional de Justicia
and the outcome
y el resultado
of the ICJ
de la CIJ
must be respected by all.
debe ser respetado por todos.
The second phase of the meeting
La segunda fase de la reunión
was between CARICOM
fue entre CARICOM
and the Venezuelan team.
y los venezolanos.
The third phase of the meeting,
La tercera fase de la reunión,
which has just concluded,
que acaba de concluirse,
was the first face-to-face exchange
fue el primer intercambio de cara a cara
between President Maduro,
entre el presidente Maduro,
myself,
mi persona
and our team
y nuestro equipo,
in the presence of
en la presencia
CARICOM,
de CARICOM,
CELAC,
CELAC,
Brazil,
Brasil
and the United Nations.
y las Naciones Unidas.
In that meeting,
En esa reunión,
I outlined once again
yo he esbozado nuevamente
Guyana's clear position.
la clara posición de Guyana,
That is,
lo que es
we are
que
a peace-abiding country and people.
somos un país y pueblo
We have no other ambition
y no tenemos otra ambición
than to pursue the peaceful coexistence
sino de proseguir la convivencia pacífica
with Venezuela
con Venezuela
and every country in this region.
y cada país de esta región.
I made it very clear
Yo aclaré muy bien
that Guyana
que Guyana
has all the right
tiene todo el derecho
to exercise its sovereign right
de ejercer su derecho soberano
within its territorial space
dentro de su espacio territorial
to approve of
y de aprobar
and facilitate any development,
y facilitar cualquier
any
desarrollo,
investment,
cualquier inversión,
any partnership,
cualquier sociedad,
any training,
cualquier comercio,
any collaboration,
cualquier colaboración,
any cooperation,
cualquier cooperación,
the issuing of any license,
el otorgamiento de cualquier licencia o permiso
and the granting of any concession
y el otorgamiento de cualquier concesión
within our territorial space
dentro de nuestro espacio territorial
and within our sovereign space.
y dentro de nuestro espacio soberano.
I made it clear
Yo aclaré muy bien
that the controversy
que la controversia
must be resolved at the
debe ser
ICJ,
resuelta ante la CIJ
and we are unwavering and resolute
y estamos resolutos e inquebrantables
in ensuring
en asegurar
that
que
Guyana's case
el caso de Guyana
is presented,
se presente,
defended,
defienda
and that the ICJ
en la Corte Internacional de Justicia.
will issue its decision
Dicha Corte va a
on the
hacer
merits of the
saber
case,
su decisión sobre los méritos,
which of course is binding on all the
que
parties.
por supuesto es vinculante para todas las partes.
I made it clear
Yo aclaré
that the process leading to the
que el
ICJ
proceso ante la CIJ
is part of the Geneva Agreement,
forma parte del Acuerdo de Ginebra.
and that the Geneva Agreement provides
Acuerdo de Ginebra
for the UN
dispone
Secretary General to determine
para que el secretario general de las Naciones Unidas determine
where
dónde
the controversy
la controversia
must
debe
be finally determined.
ser dirimida.
And it is a UNSG
Y es
acting within the confines of the Geneva Agreement
de la ONU que quien actuó dentro de los
Who determined?
acuerdo, quien determinó
that that place is the ICJ.
que ese lugar es la Corte Internacional de Justicia.
I want to say
Quisiera decir
that we
que nosotros
agreed with all the regional partners
acordamos con todos los socios
that the priority is peace
regionales de que la prioridad es la
and
paz
that every threat
y de que cada amenaza
of force or the use of force
de fuerza o el
must be
uso de
denounced,
fuerza debe ser denunciado
and that every party
y que cada parte
must take responsibility.
debe asumir la responsabilidad.
We made it very clear
Eso lo aclaramos muy bien.
that Guyana is not the aggressor.
Que Guyana no es el agresor.
Guyana is not seeking war,
Guyana no busca la guerra,
but Guyana reserved the right to
pero,
work with all our partners to
pero,
ensure the defense of our country.
pero Guyana tiene, reserva el derecho de trabajar con todos sus socios para defender lo que es nuestro.
All our partnership is based
Toda nuestra sociedad se basa
on the defense
en la defensa
of our territorial integrity and our sovereignty.
de nuestra soberanía y la integridad territorial.
So as we move forward
De manera que en la medida
in the
que
next phase of the meeting,
progresamos a la próxima fase de la reunión
and in keeping with the invitation,
y de acuerdo con la invitación,
which sought to enable a process of dialogue
que busco facilitar un proceso de diálogo
on consequential issues, not on the issue before ICJ, on consequential
sobre
issues
asuntos consecuenciales, más no el asunto ante la CIJ,
that dialogue, the shape and form of that dialogue,
que la forma y la manera en
in
que se va a
a
realizar ese
understanding
diálogo
of how we move forward
determina y hace comprender cómo vamos a avanzar.
is the next phase of these meetings.
Constituye la próxima fase de estas reuniones.
Both parties
Ambas partes
committed
se comprometieron
to ensuring
en asegurar
the region remains a zone of peace.
que la región permanezca como una zona de paz.
I made it very clear
Eso lo aclaré muy
that
bien.
within the sovereign space of Guyana,
Que dentro del espacio soberano de Guyana
we will continue
continuaremos
to do everything
a hacer todo
that promotes the development,
que promueva el desarrollo,
the advancement of our people,
el avance de nuestra gente
and all the partnerships necessary
y todas las necesarias
to ensure the
sociedades
defense and protection of what is ours,
para asegurar la defensa y protección de lo nuestro,
in accordance with international law.
de acuerdo con el derecho internacional.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Mr. President, what are some of the other issues that you hope to discuss with your Venezuelan?
We are now going to that phase.
Is there an agenda?
Well, that's what I'm saying. This is an ongoing dialogue.
Este es un diálogo
It is
de
open.
proceso abierto.
We dealt with three phases.
Tratado este espacio
One of the phase that we just dealt with
una fase que
was the
acabamos de
outlining,
atender,
clearly outlining our position.
trazando muy claramente
Now we are
nuestra
moving
posición, muy claramente
to the next phase.
y vamos a
I'm
la
not going
próxima
to
fase.
delve into that phase now in the media. That phase is now
Is that
ongoing.
going to be at the presidential level? Or your foreign ministers will take up?
No, we're still at this meeting.
Oh.
Estamos todavía
We're still at this meeting. That's why I'm saying we are here up to where I have updated you on. That is where we are.
The next phase comes immediately.
Yes, that is why I just came to brief
Fase
you.
inmediata.
Mr. President.
So are you prepared to stay as long as it takes to have whatever it is resolved?
Well, I'm prepared, and we came here
Y hemos venido acá,
to, as Guyana has always said,
como Guyana,
we came here
hemos venido acá
in the interest of
en el
peace and
interés
stability
de la
for
paz
this
y la
region.
estabilidad
Guyana is not the aggressor.
Guyana no es el agresor.
We have never
Jamás
threatened anyone
amenazado a nadie
of force or the use of force.
de fuerza o de
Mr.
uso de la
President,
fuerza.
so looking at what is happening now in other parts of the world, and in the Caribbean, two leaders who have been at sort of loggerheads with each other are now able to sit and dialogue. Do you think the Caribbean has now set the standard for the rest of the world?
Well, the dialogue is ongoing.
El diálogo está en camino.
The CARICOM, CELAC,
CARICOM,
Brazil
CELAC, Brasil,
has initiated
han
a process
iniciado un proceso.
of communication and dialogue, and that is an important process.
Y eso es un proceso
And credit must go to all those who participated
y
in the
debe
initiation of this process.
todos
Sir, you
los
said
que
that both parties
iniciaron
pledged peace. In Venezuela, speaking about its commitment to peace, did Guyana remind or bring to the fore the actions that were taken by Venezuela and compare it as to what you're saying as to what they're doing?
Of course,
Por supuesto.
very strongly. Very
Fuertemente,
strongly.
Muy
But
fuerte.
Venezuela has also expressed certain timelines for carrying out actions relating to the referendum. Are they going to pull back from those actions, from the putting out of those actions?
Well, let us see. Let us see. I'm not going to go beyond where the meeting is right now. Let us see what comes out of the next week. I asked the media to respect this.
Les
Mr.
digo
President, there's a
a los
military
medios que-
aircraft out there from Venezuela. On the tail, it's printed El Essequiba es nuestro, Essequiba is ours. What do you think that means?
This tells you. I don't have to think what it means.
Esa es su respuesta.
We
No
know-
tiene que pensar lo que significa esa
We know what this means.
lo que esto significa.
This is Guyana.
Este es Guyana.
All of it.
All right, guys. So you hear it all. You hear it all. All right. So right now, Guyana and Venezuela is still going through the phase of talking, coming to an agreement. But Guyana is not trying to settle and give away anything out of it. So this is where that right now, guys. I'm going to keep you updated. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'm going to keep you updated and let you know more about what's going on with Venezuela and Guyana. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you all. Peace.